Hey everyone, Leroy here with the August version of 412. 4 things I want you to know, 1 thing to think about, 2 things to look forward to. Let me start with the 4 things I want you to know. First is the progress we're making on taking our zero harm efforts to the next level, or what we call Zero Harm 2.0. The Zero Harm 2.0 is our attempt to re-energize our efforts towards achieving zero injuries, environmental incidents, and negative impacts to our communities after seeing the great progress that was made from 2015 through 2020 plateau over the past 2 years. Now, Joe Dowd, our VP of Zero Harm, has been out visiting a number of our sites, conducting interviews with our frontline employees and trying to better understand what barriers we face to getting to zero. In fact, Joe is currently in Australia conducting more interviews and attending the Australian Zero Harm and Compliance Training Conference to gather more information for Zero Harm 2.0. Now, in addition to Joe's efforts, we had a cross-section of frontline employees from our wood treatment plants come to Pittsburgh to share their ideas by participating in our first ever Safety Idea Summit led by Ashley Coup, our Innovation Manager. Now, the group brainstormed over 130 ideas and presented their top ideas to the Zero Harm team for consideration. Some of the top themes involve better training and tools for the front line, focusing on peer-to-peer interactions, and developing our Zero Harm information system to be simpler to use so our leaders can spend more time in the field and less time in front of a computer inputting information. So hats off to Joe and Beau VanDyke for leading the Zero Harm 2.0 efforts, to Ashley Coup for putting together the Safety Idea Summit on short notice, and to all the participants in the session whose names you see on the screen for sharing their time, experience, and ideas, and their care for their Koppers teammates. Stay tuned for more to come on this and future updates. The second thing I want you to know is that our most recent class of Koppers Leadership Forum graduates were recently celebrated in Pittsburgh for their dedication and persistence in seeing the KLF curriculum through to its conclusion. This is the first class to come back together for in-person learning since the pandemic. The class members whose names you see got to have dinner with the Leadership Council and meet one-on-one with each of our board members at our most recent board meeting. And while I knew each member of this cohort before their participation, I enjoyed getting to know each one a little bit better through this process, and am proud of each and every one for getting through the program, which is a big commitment beyond their day job. Congrats and hats off to the KLF grads. I look forward to seeing how each of your careers continue to progress at Koppers. The third thing I'd like you to know about is the expansion of our Koppers College Development program. We currently have the Koppers College Business Degree program and the Foundations of Leadership program, which are both virtual programs that are taught over 3 to 6 months in a series of different modules. Now, we just recently had our first Foundations of Leadership class graduate, and our second cohort begin their first sessions of the Business Degree program on August 1st. Now, the new program that will launch in December is Leadership in Action, and it will be focused on our frontline supervisors. The details of the curriculum are still being finalized, but you should expect that this program will lay the groundwork for providing a consistent foundation of critical leadership skills, as well as a means to instill our values, culture, and strategies so our frontline supervisors can draw a more direct link to the work they do every day and its importance in Koppers achieving its purpose of protecting what matters and preserving the future. The fourth and final thing I'd like you to know for this month is that we recently issued our second quarter earnings report, which was lower than what the analysts that follow us expected. Our sales were strong as we posted our first quarter ever with sales over the $500 million mark. Earnings were lower than last year and lower than expectations, primarily due to higher costs of materials, freight, and labor that haven't been fully passed on to our customer base just yet. Now, we're continuing to roll in price increases over the remainder of this year and early into 2023, which should get us a little better than even. Importantly, we maintained our profit guidance for the full year of $230 million in adjusted EBITDA and $4.10 of adjusted earnings per share, while also declaring another quarterly dividend of 5 cents per share. Okay, I'm flipping to this month and moving on to the 2 things to look forward to before wrapping it up with 1 thing to think about. The first thing to look forward to is some Q&A responses coming your way. Now, coming out of our regional all-employee meetings from last week, we had a number of questions that were asked. Some we were able to respond to, others we weren't due to time constraints. In the interest of being responsive to what's on your mind, we're preparing responses to all your questions and plan to distribute that to our employee population by topic in a series of announcements. It's our way of continually trying to improve the way we communicate across the organization. So look forward to the first of the Q&A announcements, which covers business performance topics, and that announcement actually might have occurred just prior to this video release. Also, be on the lookout for future Q&A announcements covering other topics. The second thing to look forward to is members of the Leadership Council getting out to visit various Koppers sites. Joe Dowd's currently in Australia after visiting our Auckland, New Zealand site last week. Joe's with Mike Smith, who's delivering frontline zero harm training to our employees. And Joe will be in Takura and Mayfield next week. Later this month, Jim Sullivan, Stephen Lucas, Stephanie Apostolou, and Kevin Washington will be joining Travis Gross on a whirlwind tour of Galesburg, North Little Rock, Somerville, Guthrie, and Roanoke. This will be Stephen, Stephanie, and Kevin's first visits to these locations, so if anyone is watching this and works at one of those sites, please welcome the group as you have welcomed me in my past visits. We're excited to meet our many team members and learn more about the work you do to serve our customers while protecting what matters and preserving the future. Now I'd like to wrap things up with the one thing to think about. Now this past week I've had two individuals that work for Koppers ask me directly, but in slightly different words, what do you need from me, Leroy, to help Koppers reach its goals? Now I'll start by saying that's a great question to ask, and I'm so glad that they had the courage to ask it. Both are high performers who are very good at what they do, but they were each independently asking, outside of the stuff that I do that has to get done, what should I be focusing on that helps Koppers fulfill its purpose of protecting what matters while preserving the future, that keeps us true to our values of people, planet, and performance, and that helps us achieve our 2025 goal of $300 million in profitability without sacrificing our vision of zero harm and sustainability? While the answer varies somewhat depending upon a person's role in the organization, there are some constants for everyone to think about. Number one, take our values personally and regularly check yourself as to whether you're living them through your actions on a regular basis. Number two, make sure you understand the larger organizational goals and map the work that you do to those goals to ensure you're in alignment. Number three, if you have additional capacity or simply want to do more, ask your supervisor what projects you can get involved in. We're always looking for another set of hands. And finally, number four, be curious and ask questions. Not only does it help you learn more, but just as often it can help the person you're asking to learn more and be better. Just as has happened here in this case with those two innocent questions to me. So think about whether what you're doing on a daily basis aligns with our values, purpose, and strategy, and if you're not sure, ask that question to your leader. You just might find that they're asking the same question themselves. That's it for this month. Until I see you again, please everyone, stay safe, stay strong, stay engaged.